This diagram illustrates the recent public benchmark scores for frontier AI models. You can see the bars inching up by single percentages, an 82% on software engineering here, and 84% on knowledge work there. We spend an enormous amount of time comparing these tiny, incremental gains, treating every minor delta as if it tells the whole story. But zooming in on those fractions misses the reality of scaling laws. Labs are injecting exponentially more inference time compute into these systems, and the capabilities keep compounding at a massive scale. We are looking up at a trajectory with no visible end. Judging a new model purely by these clean Fliblick tests is exactly like hiring an executive based entirely on their resume. A piece of paper confirms they can pass standardized hurdles, but it tells you absolutely nothing about how they will perform under actual pressure. When we limit our evaluations to sterile, cleanly defined tasks, we trick ourselves. The metrics flatten out, creating a false impression that all of these high-end models are functionally identical. We have been conditioned by the tools we use. Summarizing a meeting transcript, drafting a polite follow-up email, or generating a basic snippet of code, these have become our default expectations. If you keep the work inside a standard chat window, literally any modern frontier AI will handle those requests perfectly. The capability floor has risen so high that those basic tasks no longer test the system's limits. Real executive work operates in a completely different reality. The initial briefs are underspecified. The source materials conflict with one another. The operational requirements are dense, ugly, and severely disorganized. To find the best model for serious work, we have to stop asking polite interview questions. We have to force the AI through a brutal, messy, real-world trial shift to see exactly where it breaks. For the first trial, I gave the models an absurd assignment: build a comprehensive corporate launch package for Dingo & Co., a fictional Alaskan startup selling automated litter boxes for wild dingoes. The prompt was intentionally overwhelming. It demanded 23 distinct, usable enterprise deliverables from a single unbroken request, spanning from spreadsheets with active formulas to complete risk assessments. Weaker competitors stumbled immediately on the operational load. Some models generated plain HTML text files disguised with PowerPoint and PDF file extensions. You cannot hand a fake slide deck to a board of directors. GPT-5.5 cleared the board. It generated all 23 files as real, usable artifacts. More importantly, it independently recognized the massive legal liabilities of importing exotic animals, repeatedly inserting disclaimers that the product does not make exotic pet ownership safe or legal. Writing a coherent paragraph is a parlor trick. Actively identifying the defensive posture and risk within a chaotic business brief requires actual executive judgment. The second test pushed into sheer data volume. I handed the models a duct-taped small business database made of 465 corrupted, conflicting files, CSVs, JSON backups, and scanned receipts. I intentionally buried distinct traps inside the mess. There were duplicate entries, obvious typos, a fabricated $25,000 payment, and test customers literally named Mickey Mouse. Without any hand-holding, GPT 5.5 intuitively caught those human-level anomalies. It rejected the fake payment, flagged the test accounts, and successfully merged the duplicate customers. But the trial also exposed a specific blind spot. The model still stumbled on boring, rigorous back-end hygiene. It failed to normalize service codes properly and left raw, unmapped variables scattered across the final schema. A top-tier system can effortlessly compress the heavy lifting of a dirty migration. Yet, because it still fumbles those strict formatting rules, it absolutely requires a human manager to validate the staging data before anything goes live. The final challenge asked the models to research and code an interactive 3D browser visualization of NASA's Artemis II lunar flyby entirely from scratch, with no factual guidelines provided. GPT 5.5 nailed the complex orbital trajectories and packed the interface with dense, clickable information panels. But the visual presentation fell flat. The scale was off, and the final scene felt ungrounded and cartoonish. Claude Opus, on the other hand, arrived with impeccable visual taste. It delivered superior lighting, grounded, professional composition, and the aesthetic authority you actually expect from a space mission. Having the intuition for blank canvas visual design is a highly distinct capability. It permanently destroys the myth that there is one single flawless artificial intelligence perfectly suited for every possible job. This brings us to a crucial operational strategy: routing. You have to audit the tasks on your desk and intentionally assign them to the models built for those specific strengths. The ideal split routes visual design requests straight to Claude Opus. For multi-step execution or deep data processing, route that work to GPT 5.5. You can combine them. Generate a stunning visual mockup first, then hand that target to GPT 5.5 to code the final product. The professionals getting the most out of this technology are abandoning blind brand loyalty. They are mastering how to route assignments through a diverse, multi-model ecosystem. OpenAI released GPT 5.5 as the core reasoning engine within Codex, a comprehensive workflow system that provides the model with direct access to your local machine. Inside Codex, the model actually has the agency to act. It can inspect local files, edit lines of code, drive a web browser, run tests, and automatically loop to fix its own errors. This operational loop breaks the isolation of a standard chat window. Instead of simply generating text, GPT 5.5 uses Codex to execute tasks directly on the surfaces where work actually happens. The frontier has moved forward. If we raise our ambitions beyond simple prompts, we now have the capacity to delegate actual, messy operational loops.